G'day YouTubers, this is Keto Rules and I'm here to talk about another gaming issue. In this episode of Gaming Issues, I wish to make an important discussion point, and this is about the lack of Wii support for this year and the next year. What do I think about it? There are many things I want to think about, but I'll just get to the basics. 1. I don't like it. 2. I wish it would be improved. And 3. I kind of wish that there were more games. And I'll explain to you that it's possible to still make games for it, even with the Wii U on the horizon in 2012. What is wrong with making a few more games for the Wii just to support those Wii owners? Why not give them something to play? Huh? Yes, despite the fact we've got 6 games coming up from Nintendo and some third-party developers, it's still not enough, okay? You know, there's only like a few games being released, and there's Skyward Sword, Legend of Zelda's Skyward Sword. We've got Kirby Returns to Dreamland, Kirby's Adventure Wii in the Power Regions. Then we've got The Grinder by High Voltage Software. Then we've got Xenoblade by, I can't remember the name of the company, I can't remember the company. Then you got Last Story, which is made by the same people who made Final Fantasy. I think Xenoblade's made by Monolith Soft, I think it is. And then you've got Last Story, which is made by the same person who made Final Fantasy. Yeah, kind of sounds similar. Last Story, Final Fantasy. They thought it was the last game for Final Fantasy. They also think the same with Last Story. It's like, the last story. Then you got Pandora's Tower, which I don't really like. I don't know if it'll be worth it or not, but you get the point. Okay, 6 of those games, and unless you really want to count Mario Party 9 and Mario Sonic at the London Olympic Games 2012, so what? Those games are just, more of those kind of mini games / party collections. It's just, they're just going to be better quality than the shovelware ones. But that doesn't really matter, because I know what people want. They want core games. They want some, real in-depth games. Okay, those games are for fun. You play them every so often. You can call them core games if you want, but it won't be to majority of people. It'll just be a nice, fun pastime. Alright? That you can play for a long period of time, but it's got a different kind of, demographic that it's aiming for. Not to say that no core games can't play them. It's just, the way they're perceived. That's probably another issue for another time. But anyway, the Wii, there's not really many more games that are going to be worthwhile to play for it now. It's like, what do you do now? Can I only stick to the ones I have now? There are lots of people who really want to try some new games, and if these are the only ones, then there's no real incentive to buy a Wii. And if you're already a Wii owner, then it's not a bad idea to get these games, because it's only a couple $100 you might spend on them. But the thing is, there's nothing that's really going to push the Wii much longer. Like, there's nothing else. So, is this really a good thing? I don't know. To be honest with you, with developers abandoning it just because, they've jumped on the Wii U bandwagon, it makes me think that, maybe these developers don't really care about core gaming experiences, that they only really want to have the technical specs, or they only want to have the best graphics or something like that. This is why I am very concerned about people who try to, consider their Xbox or PlayStation 3 being the only console to own. The fanboys. I want to know, what are you trying to do? Do you honestly think you're doing anyone a favor by trying to show off your consoles? Okay? I don't know what you're on about, okay? It's not like you're the only people that matter, okay? Wii owners matter as well. And the fact that they have to put up with crappy games, or the fact that they have to put up with lack of quality games, makes me wonder if there's actually any more hope for the Wii. And to be honest with you, all I can say is there's not going to be much time for it now with the Wii U coming up. I mean, there's a massive leap between the Wii and the Wii U in everything. And it makes me wonder, why didn't Nintendo just do this in the first place? Why do they have to cut corners or costs, huh? What's wrong with spending another $100 on an HD graphics card, or getting someone to do the online better, huh? Why is Nintendo like the only company that did this? Why couldn't they have just made it easy for people and just did what could have been just a second nature standard for gaming? It just makes me wonder. It really does. It does baffle me. So, what can we possibly think? All I can say is, I just hope that this doesn't happen again, especially with the Wii U. If there's anything I never liked, is that once the third-party developers, once even big ones like Sega, Capcom, EA, and Konami, and whoever else, although Konami really didn't do very well on the Wii, there was no Activision, I suppose, as well. They released all their games too. The fact that they all pretty much just stopped developing on the Wii is just pretty sad, because it's like as if they just didn't care about it anymore. They didn't bother with it. And the biggest example was Sonic Generations from Sega. No Wii released because it didn't have HD, which is bullcrap, obviously. I mean, you can make the game without HD. It's very simple. Get rid of a few textures or shaders. It's not that difficult. I mean, look at Ubisoft. Ubisoft was also another great supporter for the Wii, by the way. And where are they? They've got one game. I'm sorry, I forgot that one game. Rayman Origins, but that's a multiplat. I mentioned those other ones because they were exclusives. Rayman Origins, I'm glad it's coming on the Wii, but I'm really upset that Sega didn't want to release the Wii, the main version on the Wii, although they're going to release a different version on the 3DS, which is bullcrap, because they should, you should understand that the Wii is capable of running a modified Hedgehog engine anyway, so why not just do that again like you did with Sonic Colors or with Sonic Unleashed? What's wrong with that? Okay, I know they modified the game because they saw a different demographic, so they wanted to change the game. They could have made the same game if they wanted to, but they chose not to because they had different developers and they had a similar template, but they made different levels, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but that's what happens when you get different developers. They try different things. I can't really say that there is any more of a future for the Wii. I mean, it's going to last as long as it can, and until the Wii U comes out, we just have to cope with the fact that there's only going to be a few games released, and you can play those ones. And if you got the other consoles, you just have to stick with them if you can't find enough substance on the Wii. Personally, I don't mind playing some of the games from the previous years on the Wii. It's not such a bad thing. I mean, I haven't beaten them all, and some of them I feel like just were playing for fun. I don't know why people feel like they have to always play a new game. I'm not that kind of person. I'm happy to stick to old games for all I care. But I guess that's just the way people prefer to be. I can't say that I don't hate people that act like, they have to always be on top of the new stuff, but I can only form my own opinion about the matter. It's just whatever. So yeah, that's about it really. Whatever. You have the Wii and 3DS to stick to if you're a Nintendo fan. You can play the old games if you want. And if you've got other consoles, you should probably try those games if you can't get them on the Wii especially. That's another problem. I can't stand it that a lot of multiplats were not released on the Wii. Why? Because of the specs. What else? And now with the Wii U fixing all those issues, such as the technical specs, having better graphics, a more powerful processor, it's like as if, you know, it's like as if, you know, it's a bit of a stab in the back because, you know, you'd think that they could have just done that in the first place, Nintendo. Anyway, that's it. Until next time, it might be very soon. I will bring up another issue, and I hope you all, you know, maybe have a little watch, maybe subscribe, rate it, do whatever you want. Just, you know, I wouldn't mind being recognised, to be honest. It would be nice. Alright. See you.